So Jason gave you a good breakdown of that. My name is Chris Donovan. I'm a Speaker of the House. I'm the state rep from the Maryland area, so it's nice to see you. Actually spent some of this afternoon talking to the editorial board of my local newspaper. And I think the main thing we were talking about was how unbelievable the situation we're in. We had surpluses for 4 years in a row. That means the money coming in paid for the services going out, and we had extra money. So we did some work here in Danbury at this college and helped things out for a lot of the people who live in Danbury in terms of health care and aid to the cities for education. We helped it out, and we provided a lot in the neighboring towns. And as of September, we had a surplus. We actually had some money to help out with people with energy costs because we were worried with the high cost of energy and going up to $5 or so a gallon that some people might be frozen out. And we don't do that in Connecticut, so we set aside some money to help them out for that. We were feeling, okay, that should help us out for a little bit. Then boom, the Wall Street disaster hit us. Wall Street disaster hit us. And what happened was the income coming in, the taxes that coming in, fell off the cliff. They just stopped coming in. It wasn't that we were spending too much before because we had surpluses for years, but the income just fell off the cliff. And what happened? There were some robber barons out there. If anybody's been following, if you saw the CNBC House of Cards or other programs are out there, or listened to the radio, people securitized or made bad investments and sold them under the auspices of Wall Street with AAA approvals, etc., and devastated not only the economy and people, individuals who lost their jobs, etc., but savings that people have had for years. Savings that people have put aside, put money aside, save it, they put it, wiped out. I have a son who graduated from college, thank goodness, but I have a daughter who is going to be 17, she just took her SATs, and I am not looking at the money I put away for college. I'm just not even looking at it. So I set aside some money, and I just don't want to look at it because I know it's going to be bad. And if I pull it out, it's worth nothing. If I leave it in, it might be worth nothing too, but I don't know what to do. So, given that, that wrecking ball came through our state, knocked it off, and so all the things that we care about, higher education, health care, the biggest, when Jason talked about health care or human services, you know what that is mainly, most of it, if not probably 85, 70, 80%, nursing homes. That's nursing homes. So when you say, okay, cut health care, all right, let's just cut nursing. Let's cut nursing. And we get federal dollars for that. All right, you want to cut education? All right, we'll cut education. Those are the choices we have right now. Those are the choices. And they're terrible choices because some irresponsible people ripped us off. And now we're here. The hurricane came through, called Wall Street, and knocked down our levees, and we have to deal with it. That's the reality. It's hard. Chris will ask questions. So that's where we are right now, and it's all spelled out right here. So the concern we have is the government puts forward a budget, and we react to it. We try to figure out how to get. We have to balance it. By the Constitution, we have the money coming in, have to balance the money coming out. We can't, like the federal government, say, let's spend extra money this year, and we'll deal with it elsewhere. We can't do that in the state of Connecticut. Money we spend has to equal the money we have coming in. That's the rule. And it's in our Constitution. So that's what we have to do. Now, and it's a serious thing. And as Jason said, it talks about what our values are. And I'm going to tell you about my town, which is not unlike him. Old industrial town without the industry. Right? You were the hat city. We were the silver city. If anybody in your family has old silver, not the expensive stuff, but the plated stuff, look on the back. It'll say Meriden, Connecticut. We did the silver for everyone. My mother-in-law from Philadelphia, Meriden, Connecticut. Oh, anywhere you go, Meriden, Connecticut. That's where, and it all left. So we try to respond. We try to rebound. And Meriden was doing okay, but we're not a big city. So a lot of our kids their parents don't have health care work for families, so they're on the husky pool. A lot of the kids on the husky pool. lot of our senior citizens, they get their health care not through Medicare, but through Medicaid, which is state-funded, etc. What's that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No problem. Nice to see you again. So in my town, and like Danbury, a lot of your kids are on Husky. A lot of your seniors are on Medicaid, getting state dollars, and money goes to your city for teaching and the kids, and money goes to this university as well. So we get a lot of money from the state of Connecticut. And not only that, because we have the state of Connecticut here, etc., we get extra money called pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. Since the state can't tax hospitals, can't tax universities, we get extra state money to do that now. So looking at that front page, that's the scariest page right there. The revenue just dropped off the map. And to give an example, we were talking to the people who get the numbers. How's the income tax coming in? They said about a month or two ago, it's down 25%. It's down a quarter. And we think it might be down as much as 40%. That's a big chunk of dough. What do we do now? All right, what do we do? So we have choices. Governor says, she came out, and, Governor's a nice person. She's trying to make things work. But first of all, as Jason said, she started out with a budget that was off. It was off by about $1 billion every year. And she put out and said, I'm going to flat fund education and no taxes. So people thought great. Whew. We thought things were tough. And she didn't realize that we were down money. So we're meant to make up the deficit she didn't include. And we need to figure out how to do it. So if you looked at things in the past, what we did, we cut things, we used the rainy day fund, we borrowed, we did revenue increases. Revenue increases means taxes, that's a word. Revenue sounds so much better. It's called the Internal Revenue Service. They don't call it the tax place, right? I even say IRS. We can't even say revenue, right? So IRS. So the good thing is Barack Obama won, and he's given us money. He's given us about $600 million this year, and about $1 billion next year. So if you had a $4 billion thing, hey, $1 billion of that, that's helpful. We also have the rainy day fund. Thank goodness we socked some money away in the rainy day fund, which was good. That's good. And we're looking for other things to figure out the difference. And I think that's the part that's unreal to people. You had a surplus in September. You got more money from Barack Obama. You have the rainy day fund. It should be okay. No, we fell off. It's not okay. So the question here, in some ways, we're here to say, okay, what do we do? We have ideas, but we also need to hear from you. And that's why we put together the scary budget. And we wanted people to, not to be scared, but to say, this is real. If we don't raise any more revenue, if we don't get more money from Washington, we don't get any other money, and we just do it in cuts, this is $2.8 billion. And to give you an idea of $2.8 billion, if you got rid of all the state employees, get rid of them, lay them off, that's about $2.6 billion. So nobody in corrections, no teachers here, nobody's doing anything, no snow plows, nothing. That's the world, right? Mad Max would show up and do something, but that's getting rid of all the state employees. That's not going to happen. How about all the aid to cities and towns? All the aid that we give to cities and towns. That's about $3.4 billion. So all right, we'd have a little bit extra, but cities and towns wouldn't have anything. So who paid? So the schools would say, where are we going to get the money? We'll have to raise the property taxes, and everybody has to all right, so we have to make those decisions about our values. And I'll give you an example, and the ways we need to rethink things. There are things we can do that makes sense, and we just don't do them because things have been going okay. Give you an example. I've been pushing a proposal on health care, because everybody wants health care. Let me ask you a question. How many people in here want a lousy health care fund? All right, everyone wants a good one. All right, I agree. I want one good one. For myself, my family, my friends, everybody. Right, well, that's what you should have said one of the things. That's my idea. I have a good one. I have a good one because the state of Connecticut has a good one. How does the state of Connecticut have a good one? Because they have a lot of state employees and their families. So they have 200,000 lives in their health care plan. So they say, we want a good health care plan. Here's what we want. Let's put it out to bid. Who's bidding? Anthem says we're in. HealthNet says we're in. Another one? United says we're in. How much you want to pay? we don't want to pay so much for the state of Connecticut. So the state says, okay, the insurance company said, to get the business, we're going to shave it down. It's, how's this? So the state says, okay. So it turns out, for the plan we have, it's cheaper than everybody else's. And it's better. It's a good plan, and it's cheaper. So that's like that old commercial, tastes great, less filling. How can it taste great and be less filling? Right? How can this insurance plan be better and cost less? How do we do it? Volume. We do it by volume. We get everybody together and say, if you want to make money off of 200,000 lives, you can make a little bit money percentage and make a lot of money. You're not going to make that money off of 20 people or 30 people, etc. But over 200,000, you can. So, idea was, hey, let's look at other government. Let's open it up and see if other governments. So we came to Danbury, and we met with the mayor. And we said, how much, now imagine you're the mayor. Here's what you have to do for your mayor. Now you have unions, and people know there's unions out there. So there are unions out there, and imagine you're the mayor of the city of Danbury, and you say, okay, I'm going to meet with the unions and talk about health care. We're not going to say what the plan is, but okay, so you meet with the police department. You say, hey, police department, health care cost is too expensive. We want you to take this benefit. And you say, police union says, no, I don't. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's meet tomorrow, and then we'll meet the day after that. You say, I'm hiring a lawyer. I'm saying, you're hiring a lawyer, I'm hiring a lawyer. All right, let's meet. Oh, no, we're going to go to binding arbitration. We pay these people. They come in. We settle it. Here's the plan we're going to get. Okay, Danbury, we have the health care plan for the police department. All right, now, fire department. Hey, fire department, what about the health care plan? They go back and forth. Fire department. Secretaries, janitors, teachers, paraprofessionals, other secretaries. Why are we doing all that? Why don't we just open up the health care plan, the state health care plan, everybody come in. We have one. We save all that stuff, and guess what? It's cheaper and as good or better. So, now here's the funny part about it. Some people don't like it. Who don't like it? Some insurance salesmen, because they make money going around and selling it to each one of them. So the question is, if you're a town, you have to make a choice. Who do you want to spend money on? Teachers, police department, schools, or health insurance? That's the choice. That's the choice. It's a choice you can make. You can say you want to help out the insurance people, and that's fine too.
I don't agree because of where it is.
Yeah, I know. So here's what happened also. So we went around, we found out in Danbury they would save money, and then the mayor said, oh, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't, and so we missed that opportunity. Even though we could have saved money, we missed that opportunity. So that's money Danbury could have saved, didn't do it. We actually passed a bill in the House of Representatives that would have spread that out to all the cities and towns. They could join, volunteer, open it up to small businesses, because they're hurting too. Small businesses say, I can't afford health insurance, or it's so expensive, I couldn't hire somebody. They looked at our plan and said, holy mackerel, I could save money, provide good health insurance, and hire more people. So health insurance, in some ways, is pulling down our economy. The high cost is pulling down our economy. And then people don't have their health care because if they get sick. So we passed it in the House, we passed it in the Senate, the governor vetoed it. That means she killed it. She said, but she wants to talk about it, and I said, so we're continuing to talk. One thing along the way we found out, too, is that if the state of Connecticut, as cheap as our plan is, we're fully insured. Now, if you know insurance jargon, that means we pay a company to take care of everything. They take care of the risk, etc. But if you also know anything about insurance, anybody who has more than 100 or so employees, they're self-insured. That means they kind of assume the risk and you pay as you go. And why do companies do that? A lot of big companies do it. All the big companies do it. It's because they save money that way. But the state of Connecticut is not self-insured. We're fully insured. So we're paying kind of an extra for our health insurance than we ought to. And we found out this year, if we self-insure this year, we could save at least $70 million on the state. So we have good health care for people, it's cheaper for everyone, and the state of Connecticut would save money in addition to the cities and towns that are out there. We're getting resistance. We're getting resistance. I don't know if you'd save $72 million. Yes, we will save $72 million. I said, did you self-insure prescriptions for state employees last year? Yes, we did. How much money did you save? $18 million. That's good. Why don't we self-insure the full thing? We're going to lose money. So that's some of the problems we have. Jason also talked about federal dollars. There's other things we do. You know, we have this program that's been around since the colonies were started. It's general assistance, and it's money we pay for the really down and out people. Down and out people, we help them out. They show up at the hospital, the police brings them to the hospital takes care of them, and for whatever reason, and then we pay it for it, the state pays for it. Well, the federal government will give us money. We'll pay for half of it if we ask them, which is about $24 million a year. We don't do that. We don't do that. Actually, we passed the bill twice to do that. The governor has not done that. So there's another $24 million. Between the self-insured and Saga, general assistance, there's $100 million right there, state of Connecticut City, and we're helping things out. But it's a different way of doing things. Cities say, Chris, I know you have a good plan, but we have our plan. It's been going okay for these years. We don't need to get into the state health care plan. I know you don't. But maybe this year you really, really, really ought to think about it. Because we're not going to be able to give you as much money as we've done in the past. So there's efficiencies we can do that provide the services we need for the people in our community and save dollars. That's kind of the other thing. Now that's one thing we need to do. And we also need to look at programs that don't work. We found pots of money that the governor didn't even know about. And now we're taking those pots. They haven't been used. And that's about $200 million right there. So now we're doing okay. We're dealing with the problem. But there's another fundamental thing. When a hurricane comes through and devastates the area, when there's a big snowstorm, etc., we as a people figure out what our values are. If there's a hurricane, do we hide behind our doors and see our neighbor in trouble and just say, good luck with that, I'm on high ground, you're drowning, good luck. No, we don't. We help them out. We do that. An example is my town. It's a distressed municipality, which means, hey, we're not the richest town in the world. And last week, or weekend before, I started out my day, I walked with about 200 Meriden residents who were raising money to help people afford their energy bills. It's called Walk for Warmth. We do it every year. It was a nice thing. I remember. And we had about 200 people. So Meriden, a distressed municipality, 200 people, took money out of their pockets and helped people. That was the first thing we did in the day. Then a woman and her husband, they had a fire, and a couple of their birds died, and they had dogs. They were big animal people, right? And their house burnt, and then they couldn't move back in. So we went to the Polish League club, and we had the meatball and salad thing, and we all pitched in money and helped them out. That's the second thing we did. People in Meriden came, helped them out. Third thing we did, the firefighters got together, we shaved their heads for St. Baldrick's and raised money for kids with cancer. I mean, you couldn't even get near the restaurant bar. I think for the firefighters, the emphasis was on bar. But that's what they did. And they raised money. So that's three things the people in Meriden, distressed municipalities, said we want to do. We're helping each other out. So we're faced with a problem right now. Now, the people in Meriden didn't write checks for $100. They didn't write checks for $1,000. Maybe they gave $5 in. Maybe they gave $10 in. Because, they're not the richest people in the world. So, but we have a problem here. We got to figure out what we give, what we're going to contribute. We're facing, if we don't do anything, big problems, bigger problems than we have now. Because we're getting by this year, and next year is the big drop, as you saw. So that's the issue. What are we going to do? And so we're right. The good news is, here's the good news. This last budget thing, the Republican leader and I started to have these discussions. And we kind of said, you know what? I said to him, look, I'm tired of when you bring up all these things to try to embarrass us. And he said, well, we don't like this. And we started talking. And eventually what happened was we agreed on the same budget. And there was a unanimous vote in the House. All the Democrats and all the Republicans voted for the budget in the House. That didn't happen in the Senate, but it did happen in the House. And we said to each other, let's not do it the same old way. Let's try to get some ways to have some conversation and say, these are the cuts we could look at, and a lot of them we don't even want to look at. And here are some revenue or taxes we might want to look at. And he said, there's a lot of them I don't want to look at. But let's look at them. Let's both of us look at them and figure out what we need. And that's kind of the task. Is we're in a mess. We're in a mess. I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but hey, you know what? We're in a mess. And let's realize that there's a hurricane came through. We need to deal with it. So this is kind of like the town's good. Hey, everybody, we got to get together and figure out what to do. Run down, grab a sandbag, and go down there. That's what we have to do here tonight, is to figure out, first of all, what we need to do. Do we care about education? Yes, we do. Of course we do. Do we care about higher institutions, higher education? Yeah, absolutely. Do we care about the seniors? And it was funny, when I was at this, one last thing, I was at the editorial board, there was a guy there that says, look, Chris, the 25-year-old who doesn't need health insurance, doesn't care about the senior citizen who's at the nursing home. And he says, and the senior citizens, they don't care whether the kids get education. They don't really care. Let's own up to that. Seniors don't want to pay for education. And healthy 25-year-olds, they don't want to pay for seniors with the health care. I said, you know what? It's about time we got back to family values. And I bet there are a lot of 25-year-olds who care about their grandparents. And there are a lot of grandparents who care about their kids. That's the wrong way of looking about America. That's not the America I know. It's not the Connecticut I know. So that's what we're here for, is to say, okay, we're in this. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to cut grandma? We're going to cut the kid going to college? Let's figure out a way to get together. So I just want to come and say hello. We're working together. We have a great team with Chris, Joe, Jay, Jason, and Bob. And great to see you. And let's keep the dialogue going. Thanks.